Shawn, what's going on, bro?
What's
What's
up
wrong?
with you, Trey?
Chilling, man. Chilling, man. Just got out of corporate probably about an hour ago. Working on a big presentation. Got to present to leadership tomorrow. So I'm trying to make sure my presentation is good because I definitely want to leave that lasting impression on leadership tomorrow when I present. Because I think being able to present, make a good presentation in front of leadership is definitely a great way to set yourself up for promotions in the future. So that's mostly what I've been working on today. Just working on my editing my PowerPoints and getting feedback from my manager on where I need to improve so I can be good to go for tomorrow. What about yourself?
I just started work today. We just had professional development, so we just had meetings all day. Just going over stuff on the computers on how to open up the lesson plans and things of that nature. And I won't see the kids for like another 3 weeks. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for a new year, new kids, new contract.
Man, shout out to you for getting to the bag. That's what that means, right? The new contract, you get a pay increase.
Yep.
And shout out to you. That's what we talk about here on Bag Talk, leveling up. Shout out to you, my man. I know you'll be doing more investing with it anyway, so it ain't really you ain't really gonna blow the bag too much. Be more investment income for you per se.
Yep.
All right, so we gonna dive into two videos today. This week we'll be switching it up. We'll be doing something a little bit different. Last week we talked about living on $32,000 in the PNW Pacific Northwest. This week we'll be talking about someone who worked at a law firm and then they end up quitting the law firm to go work as a firefighter. And then we'll transition into talking about another video where you have people that talk about how much debt they have. So I think these videos will be very interesting. They're a little bit different than what we've been doing reaction videos to. So with that being said, we're gonna dive right into it. Get it.
The question of do this when I could be making so much more as a lawyer in a field I already have all the skills for. It's really a matter of what it means to be alive. You want to have a living, don't want to just have a career, you want to live. And that's really important to me. I'm Nico, I'm 36, and I left my job as a lawyer and became a firefighter.
And so kind of before we deep dive into this video, she talks about you gotta live. Like you do need to live, but what I hope what she's doing is she's actually still working as a lawyer, probably full time, maybe doing this part time. I don't know how that would actually be possible though, because lawyers are very busy, and she's 36. So I hope she talks about her because, as we know, law school isn't cheap by any means. Some people come out of law school with over $200,000 in debt, and so I hope she kind of talks about that and addresses that because, like I said, it's very expensive. Law school is very expensive, and then making only $15 an hour, that's not a lot of money. Good for college students or somebody else that got a side gig, but to make a living off that full time, that's gonna be a little bit tough. So I'm interested to see what her situation is from a financial perspective.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that she making 15 an hour. I know here in Chicago, like when you're a firefighter, you work for the city, and when you work for the city, you make decent amount of income. Like your starting salary should be around 80K, I believe so,
Oh,
like about
okay.
80K, and then you can do like overtime and get time and a half. So I know that's how it works for the police officers, and I think it worked like that for them, and also the people who work in hospitals, like the ambulance
Mhm.
people or whatever. So I know she can definitely, make 100K maybe if she moved, if she did it full time. But I know it say right there that she's doing it on the side.
Part time, right?
When I got the chance to do firefighting, I didn't know that it was going to be mind altering good. Like it really is, it's invigorating. There's so many new skills. It's exciting. The people are amazing. And you get to be outside. Working as a lawyer, you spend a lot of time sitting in a chair. And I have bees in my knees. I like to move around. It was not comfortable. I was gaining a lot of weight. I wasn't happy in my body anymore. And my mental health was certainly suffering because of it. And I needed to find something that would allow me to have more balance in my life. I was able to support myself after quitting my job at the law firm through a few different means. My folks really helped out. They took myself and my son in. I had some savings, around $10,000 in savings, and I started my own law firm, just a very, very small law firm. this is that law firm, just me. But that allowed me to survive. Though honestly, we weren't spending very much money because it was the pandemic.
Interesting. So she works as a firefighter part-time, and then she left the law firm to start her own law firm, and then she lives in California. So I think that's something to point out, because the cost to do business in California is very expensive, for number one. And so I guess that's probably why she moved back in with her parents, because she may have some debt or something like that. And then she only had $10,000 in savings. Now that is more than most Americans, because as we know, most Americans only have $500 saved up. So she had I would say it's enough. It may be enough for a couple of months, depending on what she would need, what her housing costs would look like. But I think that's pretty interesting. Now I do get what you're starting to see today. I think, like in the workplace, is more people are actually prioritizing happiness, right? Like people are saying, look, I'm willing to walk away from this high paying job because I'd rather be happy. I want less stress. But the thing is, Shawn, she's a lawyer, so she went to go start her own law firm. It's going to be much harder for her there, in my opinion, because she's by herself. It's a small law firm. She's by herself. She's doing double the work, more expenses to do business as well.
I actually didn't think about, how a lawyer pretty much sits down a lot. And she was talking about how she was gaining weight. I'm like, yo, I never thought about it that way, because, when I'm watching TV, all the doctors and lawyers look thin, and muscular for the guys. So I guess I never really thought about, like, what does that look like in the real world? But it's crazy that she, had a job that was paying her over 100K and she only had 10K saved. I would assume, like, I was assuming at least 30, Like, I wonder how many years she was in, that profession, making that amount of money. I mean, that's what, a little less than 10%? 10%. I was hoping she can make, save at least 10% a year.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah, she's saying that she was overweight. She sit on her knees she sit down all day. Her knees get stiff, gain a lot of weight. But guess what? She can always come over here and tune in to 𝗕𝗂𝗃𝗃. She needs to come over here and tap in with Robbie J and I Got Tommy, so we can get her right in terms of that fitness aspect. But yeah, to your point, you make a great point about, I think it's very expensive to live in California, and $116,000 after taxes. I mean, California, you paying a lot. So I don't know what that number would be, but who knows what her housing situation looked like? Who knows what her budget looked like? Because she moved back in with her parents. So, we don't know how much she was actually spending on rent and food and etc.
Yeah, I was also thinking about how, what she say? She's 36.
36.
Like a job like this, yeah, cool. She looks great now. She getting exercise, but how long can she really do this for?
It's physical. It's labor. It's hard labor.
Yeah. So she ain't 18 years old, and deciding to become a lawyer at the age of 36. It's the other way around. I wonder how long her body can. But maybe if she becomes like some type of supervisor or whatever, she'll be able to still stay in a job. But even the supervisors don't really move around that much, so she's gonna find herself in the same position, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I wonder how this is gonna play out in the long term.
Make a great point. Hopefully she'll talk about that in the video.
The story of how I came to be a firefighter it's very serendipitous. In August of 2020, we actually had a single lightning strike, and it started a little fire right up there on our property, just up on that hillside of the mountain. This is Table Mountain. And very quickly, some firefighters came in from town, and they started climbing up the hill, and we're like, why? There's a fire road that goes up and around. It goes almost straight to where the lightning strike had happened. So my mom and I, we put on a backpack and hiked on up after them and showed them where the fire road was. And that's how I met Josh Jones, who is Captain Josh Jones, who is the one who showed me how to get involved with our local fire department. Once I started in the fire academy, it was like fireworks. It's such a dynamic career. You're constantly learning new skills. You're working with wonderful people. You're helping people. You're doing all of these really incredible things and having all of these crazy experiences. And you get
That's crazy. I forgot to mention she talked about her family having 200. So that's another. So maybe, and I don't mean that necessarily that the wealthy, right? Could have been inherited through through an estate, right? But that's something to note. And in California, there's actually a lot of wildfires out there. Like in her case, she said it was lightning, but in that area, like even in other parts of California, like during the summers, a lot of fires tend to start out in places like that, and it's hard to put them out too. So
Yeah.
that's kind of interesting. Interesting, and the job just looks very labor intensive. It looks very labor intensive. I'm not really understanding why would she make the change from being a lawyer to being a firefighter.
Mm.
I just don't get it.
You know what though? She only had to go to school, basically firefighter school, for 4 months to get an extra 15K in her paycheck. In her salary. That ain't bad, bro.
Man,
Like if you think about it, let's say you work a job for 40K, and then you pick up firefighting on the side for extra 15. That's a what, 55K? That's a nice amount of little money.
yeah, I agree. And like I guess like you said, the exit plan would be she would have to go and try to be a supervisor, right? But then again, they're still working. So, but I mean, it's not bad. Like you said, in Chicago, you got people making $80,000, and the schooling probably isn't that long to be a firefighter. But the risk, there's a lot of risk that's associated with that as well. And long term, there could be issues long term, right? Such as like maybe lung cancer as well, due to all the chemicals and stuff that you're inhaling and all that other stuff.
I get to be outside a lot, which I really like. I can't be tied to a desk anymore. I just can't do it.
Let me touch on something real quick. I I understand what she's saying right there, being tied to a desk. Like in corporate, when you're working 8 to 10 hours a day, you realize that like a lot of these meetings, they're on Microsoft Teams, and we're not going to like different rooms. We're like meeting at our desk, and you get a little stiff sometimes. And sometimes what I have to do is like make sure that every hour, every 2 hours, I'm taking a 15-minute break because it gets kind of nerve wracking just sitting at the cubicle. So I definitely understand her point there. That's kind of one thing that I kind of don't like, being stuck to your desk all day long and then sitting down and get stiff and all that. But I guess probably the solution would be to get like a standing desk. That's something that you could do, and then make sure that you taking a 15-minute break or 10-minute break or whatever, or however long you want to take, to make sure that you're sharpening, refreshing your mind, and not just being solely focused on looking at a screen.
Typical day working as a firefighter, I would call the stations and I say, hey, do you guys have room for me today? And then whoever wants to take me on will have me come to their station, and we'll usually start with some kind of training, like ropes training, or do some PT, physical training. And then, a call will come in and we all get on our gear, hop in an engine or an ambulance, and go to the call. And then I basically get paid for those calls. Do the risks of firefighting scare me? To a certain extent, yes. I mean, it would be absolutely devastating if anything happened to me or my son, and that is something that weighs on me, certainly. But frankly, being I was predominantly a family law attorney, and that's not a particularly safe career. There's a lot of angry people in family law. And also mentally safe is something that I have to consider as well. If I'm not doing well mentally, what is my quality of life? What kind of parent can I be? So I am just calling to check in. I know that you had court today.
So she may not be like, the work may not be as crazy as I thought it was, because she's on call. So
Mm-hmm.
I initially, what I thought before watching this video was, I thought she was like actively working, as a firefighter out there X amount of hours, right? Like a regular shift. She's actually on call. And then she makes the point about, mental health and all those things. I think both jobs can be taxing, especially as a lawyer. There's a lot of risks. I mean, you are dealing with some crazy things, angry clients, and things can go wrong. It can be mentally exhausting. Just based on the conversations that I've had with lawyers, they're very busy, and just having to deal with certain clients and cases can be stressful. But I think even being a firefighter is more stressful though. It's more stressful. Me personally, I would rather be a lawyer than a firefighter. But that's just me. I mean, there's just so much that can go wrong being a firefighter. I mean, I don't think it's worth the risk.
Yeah, I definitely understand what you mean by that. Like wanting to be a lawyer instead of a firefighter. Like if you have to choose between the two, especially when it comes to safety. Like I just started thinking about how like in 9/11, how many, firefighters and police officers and the people who drive in the ambulance and things like that. Like so many of them actually got killed because like they were in the area trying to help people. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, man, if something happened to her son only gonna probably get $10,000. Like, I hope she starts saving, yo. Like,
Right. And that's the thing. Like, well, maybe she does have insurance though too. That's another thing. Maybe she has insurance in place in case something happens. But like you said, you could be right, because nowadays you think that people got insurance in place for things like that, but sometimes people gotta go. They gotta go sell shirts and fish plates just to cover funeral expenses, and then the children and the family members get left with all these crazy bills, right? To pay the debtors, right? So maybe you could be right. I hope she has insurance in place, but I'm pretty sure her insurance is going to be very expensive due to the fact that she's being exposed to a lot of risk. And for those people that know about insurance, if you know, you know. You know.
And I wanted to see how you're feeling and how you feel about the judge's ruling. Currently, as a firefighter, between training and going on calls, it's probably about 10 to 15 hours a week. And then I probably do about another 15 hours a week of lawyering. So it kind of just mashes together to about a very poorly paid one full-time job.
People remember ads with young people having a good time. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance, here's a pool party. Good times insurance. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty. I don't make very much money in my little, very, very itty-bitty tiny law firm. I certainly, if I did it full-time, I could make a lot more. My hourly rate as an attorney is $250 an hour. So we're talking apples and oranges in terms of how much money I'm making. But I luckily have a support system. I have a partner who works as a nurse, and that's a very stable income. So that has also
Interesting. So she says that she makes $43,000 running the law firm. 43,000 part-time, and then she works part-time as a firefighter, right? So where does she? So in total, how much you think she's bringing in, Shawn? So if she working 15,
42.
42?
Yeah, remember when I said 40 plus a 15 was 45. So
45, right? Yeah,
52. My bad.
52K in California, and then her partner is a nurse. So actually, they might be doing okay, because I've heard about nurses in California making, some of them make over $100 an hour.
They could,
but
I don't know if she ain't making that much. As a firefighter, I'm starting to think that maybe they don't make that much as nurses. Where they at? I don't know. Unless she's traveling around.
A travel nurse. I mean, yeah, that's true. So I guess I hope they cracking 100. I hope they cracking 100, because we're not even talking about after taxes net income. We're talking about gross income.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, it probably so her hourly rate is $250. I would rather not. I don't know, man. Like I said, this is like this personal finance stuff is very personal, but I just think this is tough. I'd rather just go all in on the lawyer and make much as I can. $250 an hour.
Yeah,
it's like over 10 times what she's making as a firefighter.
Yeah, and I had just did a quick Google search. It said that the firefighters in Chicago start off at 54.
Okay.
I thought it was higher, but it says 54. But I know they can do overtime too, though.
Okay.
Yeah, and I keep saying ambulance people, paramedic. That's the word.
Paramedics. Okay. I thank you for clearing that up. So 54,000 starting. Man, this is tough, man. This is tough. It's kind of getting hard for me to keep watching this video, man. I think she's moving backwards. Because now I'm kind of curious. So what does her retirement look like at this point? $52,000, and this is pre-tax. After taxes, that ain't nothing in California. The best thing that she probably got going for herself is she actually still stay at home. Hopefully she not at home where she have to pay a lot of rent, rent to her family, right? And then she got a child. like I said, then hopefully her partner is bringing in at least over $70,000, and that's still low in California. So we talking about maybe over $100,000 pre-taxes. After taxes, you know, in Texas, that after taxes, that's if you're, I think if you're dependent, I mean, if you're single after taxes in Texas, that's like $70,000. Taxes way higher in California. So, but you know, that it could vary depending on deductions and all the other stuff. But the point is, she's moving backwards, in my opinion. I would have just tried to stick it out with the law gig, make an X amount of dollars, get on that lean fat fire or whatever, and go from there. I wouldn't put my life in jeopardy for $15 an hour. Or maybe she could have just tried nursing. She could have probably tried to go do that or do something. But to be putting your life on the line for $15, that's fatuous.
Giving me a lot more flexibility in switching careers from lawyering to firefighting. So I'm in school right now, and I am getting my training to be an EMT. My plan is to, after becoming an EMT, to take the next step and become a paramedic. And then once I have my paramedic's license, I will be in a good position to get a full-time firefighting job in a station.
Man, bro, she moving backwards, bro. She moving backwards. She left a law firm when she was making $116,000. And if that's the max at 100 now, like I said, I could be wrong. I don't know much about firefighters, so I don't know if there's like crazy bonuses that's associated with these gigs or whatever, or there's other incentives that we don't know about. But based off of the information that I'm seeing right now, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. There's no way in living hell I would do that. There's no way. There's no way. And so how much you said they make again in Chicago? 54,000, right?
Yeah, about 54.
Starting at 54. Wow. Let me see something real quick. All right. So we'll just go off the fact that people that are married in California, they make $100,000 a year. After taxes, they're left with about $70,000. $70,000. So, you know, almost $6,000 a month. That may not be too bad, right? Her situation is a little bit different. So maybe her partner makes over 70. They're probably I don't know, 140,000 in California. That don't seem like a lot to me, but maybe it works. But I just think she's making a mistake to be backpedaling like that, because there's not much mobility after that. Whereas a lawyer, you can keep climbing. And like I said, she could just do the lean fire or fat fire, figure out a way to get on track to start doing that, to get to the point where she can actually walk away from being a lawyer, and she have the resources, financial resources to do what she want to do. That's going to be much harder being a firefighter. It's not worth it. Not worth it in my opinion.
My advice for people who are considering changing careers, I think that you have to pursue your passion. I don't think that it's healthy for humans to do something just for money. I think that you have to find something that makes you feel vibrant, makes you feel excited, that is engaging, that makes you feel like you're doing something. I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to college, I went to law school, I passed the bar, first shot, I got married, I had a kid. I did all of those things and I still wasn't happy. Even though I'm still baby, junior firefighter, I want to get to that point where I am able to take it on as a career, as a full-time job, as a paramedic firefighter. I would really like to be able to throw myself into firefighting completely and really move away from the lawyering in overnight, but it's just not practical, it's not feasible. I want to end my career as a lawyer and begin my career as a firefighter in a responsible way, a way that doesn't hurt my clients because I care about them very much, and also allows me to really get the training that I need to become a really good firefighter.
I just wish that she didn't go to school that amount of time to find out that she didn't want to do it anymore, you know?
That's the thing, because now I'm kind of curious. Like, the question that I have is, do she still have student loan debt from law school and even undergrad, right? And although I do think that there's some significance to what she was saying, as you need to figure out what your passion is, but a lot of times people's passion, it's not enough for you to survive. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, the best thing you could do is work at the law firm, or anybody work your 40 hours and then get the side hustle, and then hopefully the side hustle will make more than the job salary at some point, the salary you get from your job. But I mean, I just don't know. Like I said, I mean, to each their own, man. I mean, if I'm charging $250 an hour as a low, I would be trying to get better so I can up my price, and then I would consult with a financial advisor, do the math myself, and see how much I need so I can walk away from this rather than do the opposite of what she's doing. But overall, like I said, I think it's very interesting. I think it's going to be hard for her to actually walk away from serving her clients, though. But at some point, she will have to. At some point, because EMTs, they work a lot of hours. She go through EMT school. I work with EMTs, my side job, corporate weekdays, hospital weekends. So I work with EMTs on the weekends, and there's 24-hour shifts sometimes, 24 to 48-hour shifts. So that's definitely going to be a challenge for her.